everyone, welcome to Watch It Paint It. Today we're going to be painting another character from Massive Darkness by Seaman Games. This is going to be one of the Kickstarter exclusives. This is Sicarius? Maybe that's how you say it. Let's call him Scissors. Feel like that's a word I can say, and a pretty badass nickname as well for him. We're going to be starting with Naggaroth Night. That's a dark purple by Citadel, and using a detail brush here. Most of this model, I'd say all of this model, is going to be a detail brush, maybe even smaller detail brushes. So we're going to be applying that Naggaroth Night to all of his undergarment, I guess you'd call it, all the top parts of that. And then after that, using Xereus Purple, that's the lighter purple by Citadel, and blending that at the bottom up towards that darkness there. So he's going to be getting lighter towards his sort of middle and his toes and his fingertips, and then finally mixing in some Ushabti Bone with that, 50-50, and just painting the sort of edges of his hands, his fingers, his toes, that sort of thing. It's just really keep these paints nice and thin, nice and wet, try and blend them well. It's almost like wet blending, but we're not using any sort of retardant or anything like that, any lubrication to actually wet blend, but they're all nice and wet and thin, so some blending is going to take place. And then finally just doing the very edges, sort of his fingertips and his toe tips. Toe tips, is that a thing? It is now. Just in Ushabti Bone, so he's going from very dark purple all the way through the purples to Ushabti Bone on the extremities of his sort of, what is it? It's like a morph suit or something, like, so I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know what this is. I don't know what he's wearing. Maybe it's his skin. Is that his skin? Could be. I don't know. Somebody let me know in the comments below what they think it is. And then after that, it's going to be Leadbelcher, and we're going to be applying that to all of his armor. He's got this sort of samurai armor all over the rest of him. And if you haven't noticed, this isn't my setup. They aren't my hands. This is Benson painting. So if you do enjoy this video, if you like the outcome by the end, the tutorial's helpful, do big up Benson. Leave him a like below. Give him a comment. Leave him some love. So he's just passing the time there while we painted all of that metal. There's tons and tons. He's got a lot of armor on. This guy is well protected. Skavenblight Dinge is next, and that's going to be for this skirt. I mean, it's like a leather armored padded skirt thing, isn't it? Like, this model is quite difficult to see. I think it's really, really hard to see on camera as well. And I noticed when I was filming the spin at the end, he's quite hunched over. It's a difficult angle to show you guys. So hopefully you can see it on your own model, and I can just tell you the colours, and you'll go ahead with that. Next, Benson's using a new colour. What was that? Dryad Bark? I've never seen it, never heard of it. But that is a brown, one of Citadel's browns. And he's going to be painting on all of the scissors' straps that are holding on his armour and the belt around his waist. Then Khorne Red's going to come out, and that's to paint on his red head or mask. I feel like in the artwork it's a mask, in the model it's just his head. So it's a little bit weird, but I think it's supposed to be a mask. It's just the model doesn't show the detail. Also did the handles of his swords in the same colour. Then Benson's going to switch to Army Painter. How unusual! But he's going to be using their rough iron. That's that really, really dark, tinny iron look, and that's to paint both of the base coats of both of his blades on, and the pommel of both of those swords as well. Next, he's on to shading. He's going to use Carroburg Crimson. That's the red shade by Citadel. Similar to Jumpsuit Shader or the red tone by Army Painter if you're using their set. And then next will be Nuln Oil. That's the black shader by Citadel. Similar to Survivor Shader or the Dark Tone, I think it's called, if you haven't got the Zombie Side set. And this is going to be to do all the shading on all of the armor that he painted with the Leadbelcher Silver. Is it just Leadbelcher? I think it's just called Leadbelcher, isn't it? So with the Leadbelcher. So after that, it's going to move on to highlighting. Starting with Khorne Red, starting at the face, starting with the skin, as we often do. Start with the inner part of the models first, and that's going to be his face. In this case, it's probably the most central inside part, and it's just to paint all the raised parts with a nice new base coat of Khorne Red. Next, it'll be mixing in some Wazdakka, nice and thin, and applying that on top of the raised parts, just moving more and more central. And then the final third highlight of just neat Wazdakka Red on the very most raised parts of his faces. So his eyebrows, his jawline, his cheekbones, that sort of thing. It's going to be dry brushing, I can never say this word, but Leadbelcher on his swords. So just bringing that back to a nice silver looking colour, and then a much lighter dry brush of Mithril Silver. Both of these by the army painter. That's their dark silver and their light silver. And with the light silver, he's going less far down the blade. He's trying to make the blades look darker towards the handle. He's going to use Hashut Copper, and that's to paint the base coat of the hilt of the sword. He's also going to be switching the pommels to be this Hashut colour as well. He's going to be painting them copper, well, silver base with copper shining through, I guess is how I'd describe it. Here he's using Stormvermin Fur, and that's the lighter grey by Citadel, and he's going to be highlighting up that leathery skirt that he's wearing. So skirt's made up of loads of sort of panels, and he's going to be edge highlighting each individual one of those panels. Commitment to detail here, but just going around, there's sort of a triangle kite shape. Kite's a good word. They're a kite shaped garment and lots of panels, and just going around each edge and just making that pop out from the one they're next to, so making them all stand out individually and look really realistic. White scar is going to be used for his eyeballs. He's just going to paint in 2 eyeballs, just that's it, and that's all he's going to do with the eyes. Hey, this guy's going to look quite possessed like he is in the artwork. He's going to look quite intimidating. I think the monsters will be fairly scared of this barber. Claymore Blade next, and that's by the army painter. Benson is mixing it up in this video using different brands of paint, but I think that's just to get a really good range of metallics, which is that, you know, he normally only has 2 of Citadel's, but using 4, bringing in some of the army painter's range. And he's going to be using this to do all the highlights on his armor. So he's just sort of blocking in each part, each section of his armor. It's made up in loads and loads of layers of plates, and he's just painting in each central part of those plates, leaving the shade in the recesses between each of them. And then Mithril Silver just to highlight up all of the studs, the bolts that are connecting all of the armor together, as well as some of the most exposed parts like his elbow and the point on the top of his mask as well. Mournfang Brown, and that's going to be to highlight up all of those Dryad Bark areas, all that belt that was painted on, all the straps that are holding his armor on. He's also got a whole bunch of bags across his back as well, so you want to be edge highlighting those bags, just catching sort of all the folds and all the corners of the edge. Make sure the pouch section is nicely highlighted so it stands out. The claspy part, what do you call that? The bit that folds down at the top of the bag, so that will pop out from the rest of the bag. Add it some really nice detail, make it look really realistic. And look at this, Benson is trying really hard to overcome his fear of circles, and he's painted another base for me. That's it, completely finished. Only 52 minutes. This model is super quick. Now I wouldn't say it's super easy. It's quite difficult to get that purple blend. Depending how much time and effort you want to put into that, you could find it quite difficult. However, it is a small model, and this is only a handful of colours, so it's going to be quick no matter what. So difficult, medium, yeah, some of the purple's definitely difficult. The rest I'd say is quite easy, but nevertheless it's not going to take you a long time, and this model's going to look great on the table. It's a really interesting one. Looks completely different to a lot of the other models in the game. If you did enjoy watching this, do big up Benson below, do leave him a comment, say hi. And if you super enjoyed it, or you're already on my Patreon, or you enjoy using Discord, I've now connected Patreon and Discord together, so we've got a Discord channel. It's proven to be quite popular. Bunch of people in there, all really friendly, all helping each other out with painting problems, showing off their work, just building a community, I guess, really together, and we're having a lot of fun. So check out the Patreon, link your Discord, come and join the fun, come and have a chat with us. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you next week.